don't see anybody getting on here yet. Oh, there we are. All right, again, we're going to give it just a few minutes here, let people get on and find us. Next class we're doing is Whimsey. Whimsy and nonsense. There's a lot of nonsense that goes on at Stacy's house with all three of those boys. That's for sure. She had 9 boys at the bingo last night. She's got way more patience than me. I'll tell a story on one of them. Her 9-year-old, you never know what's going to come out of his mouth. And you have a hard time not laughing when it does. But he came home the other day, and she'd gotten a call from the teacher or school or something, and there was a little something going on, and she told him that I expect better of you. And he said, well, you better lower your expectations. Oh, that one just sticks out in my head all the time, that kid. Did everybody get some lunch? Anybody get a margarita? Some of you, it was almost dinner time on the East Coast. Great, we'll give it another just a minute here. Make sure everyone's on with us. I have a feeling some of you are commenting and it's not actually showing up on the screen here. So if some of you are and I need to answer questions when I go to the computer, I'll get back to it on there. But no comments are showing up here. So I'm having a feeling they're just not. I'm feeling that you're doing it. It's just not to where I can see them at the moment. All right, I think we are probably about ready. You ready, Mom? Yeah. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and get right into it, get the camera set up here. Okay, we are on class number 3 for the days. So, get started here in just a minute. Get your kits open. And you can start punching out pieces. If you don't get them all punched, totally okay, because a lot of those pieces we don't do till the tail end anyway. There's a little cutting. It's not a lot, but there is a little bit of cutting on this one. We'll start out with that. So what we are working with, our background will be one green frame, and this is part of a die cut. And the background for page 2 will be a full sheet of green paper that looks like this. Okay. And then your cutting diagram, and sometimes I miss this, but you have this wood grain looking paper, white. It says to cut 2 papers exactly like this. And sometimes I miss that part where it says cut 2 papers. So what you want to end up with is a 1x12 strip and a 10x10 square out of both of these white full sheets of white board paper. And what those will be goes on the front of the frame here and goes on the center of page 2. So a little bit about the chalk ink colors that are suggested. Brown Jasper, that's a perfect one for this one because it's got all those rustic brown colors in it, and Amaretto, also always good almost any time. Amaretto you can use just about anywhere. So those two are, and again, there's lots of colors in this. Another good one would be Bloody Mary or Manzanita. Those are real deep reddish browns. Those would work really well too. So take your pick, and it's kind of fun to chalk up the edges of the white pieces. So again, locate for page 1, we're going to use the green frame and one of the 10.5 squares. Page 2 is a full sheet of green paper and a 10.5 square. So find your chalk ink that you want to use, and again, I think I'm going to use this box lid. Make it go fast. And this one's Brown Jasper. I'll try that on one edge so you can see what it looks like. Okay, there's Brown Jasper. And I will try Amaretto on another edge just so you can see what it looks like. They both look really good. I'm always a fan of Amaretto because it works just about anywhere that you want to add it. So just quickly chalk up those edges of your white board paper, your 10.5 squares. Let's go ahead and do both of those. Jody says train question mark. I haven't heard a train, I don't think. Did you? I haven't heard a train since we started back. I don't think so. But again, we're kind of tuned out to them. I don't remember hearing one since we got back, but I would say just about any time. Okay, got those edges chalked up, and let's go ahead and start building both backgrounds. And that means, again, mine is just a sample. I'm just putting a tiny bit of adhesive, hold it in place for now. Center. And trim your labels off too while you're at it. And again, on page 2, you have the full sheet of green paper, 10 by 10, 10.5 by 10.5 board paper. Okay, so let's get started with page 1. And the next piece that you are looking for is a brown dot 1 by 12, and these came from the board paper that you cut in the very beginning. And that brown dot paper is 2 inches up from the bottom edge of the page. So it's going to look about like this. If you do abouts, it's about right here. If you don't do abouts, it's 2 inches up from the bottom. And again, we can chalk those edges really quick with this box lid. So a little color on the edges of these strips, because these edges, most of it will show. A lot of it will show, not everything, but most of it. And we're going to do this on both pages. Page 1 and page 2, exactly the same spot. And if it helps, you can lay these side by side so that you can see exactly where number 1 is, and put 2 in the same spot. So 1 by 12 dot paper, 2 inches up from the bottom, and we chalk the edges of that in amaretto. Lots of brown colors. Roots would be nice. Mocha Mama, another nice one. Amaretto happens to be my favorite, though. We've had it ever since the very beginning, and we still use it a lot. So the dot paper, and then you have 2 strips that are almost, I think they're more like 3/4 of an inch wide. You have 2 strips like this. Again, you can chalk up those edges, and I would suggest amaretto again. The brown jasper probably would work really well on this, but I like amaretto. Chalk up those edges. And then you're going to add a little adhesive. And that goes flush to the top of your brown dot paper. And same on page 2. Okay, give you another minute to get those chalked up and onto your page. I know that chalking takes a little bit of time, so go ahead and get those chalked up, glued down. The brown dot paper goes 2 inches up from the bottom. The red strip is from a die cut, and it's flush to the top of your brown dot paper. Okay, is everybody, you're hearing from anybody that I need to slow down a little bit or anything? Okay, so we have our background kind of put together now. So what we're going to do next is you're going to locate this 6x8 green paper with, I don't know, brown and red flowers, and it's got green script on the other side. Another good spot to chalk up the edges. And we didn't suggest a green, but you know what? The green would work, but also the amaretto or the brown jasper would look really good with this. So here's your green. This is malachite. If you want to use the green, I still think I like one of the browns better. And this is real vintagey paper, so browns lend itself to this green vintage look anyway. So I kind of like the amaretto on it. Here, I'll do a mocha on it to see what that looks like. Mocha's just a little bit deeper brown than the amaretto. Amaretto has a bit of a chestnut color to it. So there is mocha. That looks good. So this piece is going to, once you get it chalked up a little bit, it's going to glue on about 1.5 inches down, about 1.5 inches in from the left-hand side. So let's go ahead and get that on. Give yourself a minute to chalk it up. It's a 6x8 green paper with flowers on one side and script on the other side. And it goes onto your page about 1.5 inches down and 1.5 inches in. And while you're doing that, you have this little tiny piece here that was cut from your cutting diagram. And the only reason for that is because when you add your vellum piece over this, find my vellum piece here. Do you see what I did with that, Breezy?
Like the vellum?
Yeah. Is it in this pile here?
Right here it looks like.
Oh. Thank you. Okay, so when you put it behind here or on front of this, you can see those dots really kind of get in the way, and it doesn't make your words as readable. So what I would suggest, just for fun, you can add this little piece that's a little bit plainer. And then when you put your Whimsey over the top, you don't lose your words in the background.
Valerie is saying try manzanita on the red.
Manzanita is a great color for the red. That or Bloody Mary, but Manzanita is one of the newer ones, and it's really pretty. It's a nice, thanks for that suggestion. It's a nice deep reddish brown, and it works great with this. So this little piece, it's 6 inches wide by 1 inch, and you can use either side that you want. I do feel like the side with the script on it is a little less busy and would work a little bit better, so I kind of like that. You can chalk up these edges if you want, but it's really not going to be seen because you're going to have that piece of vellum over the top. But if you want to add a little color, you can. And then it will go just below here. And you can go ahead and glue that down. Okay, and now we're going to do a little cutting here on our Whimsy and Nonsense. We want to cut it out right along, kind of along the border of those smaller words up here, and then also just above the smaller words over here. So we're going to go ahead and cut that out. And I'm going to use the trimmer on this one because those edges on this one does show. So just be careful to. And this is part of your cutting diagram. That's your little vellum piece. So if you didn't get that one cut out in the beginning, we can go ahead and cut it out now. Save the rest of that for another piece here. Okay, this is what your vellum Whimsey, your big letters should look like. And this will go here. And we're not going to add any adhesive on it. What we're going to do is make these little tabs.
Amy Coombs says Java looks awesome on it also. We haven't had Java in a while.
No, I haven't. I haven't seen you in a while, Amy Coombs. How are you? Miss you. Java is a good one. We haven't had that one for a while, but that's a good color. Okay, what we're looking for in our die cuts, and you have a die cut that looks like this. It has the loving life punched out of the top, a couple of little pieces here that look like tabs. Okay, there's that. And they look like this. You have a green paper that has a couple of tabs that are just slightly bigger. Looks like that. You can go ahead and punch those out if you haven't already. So I'm going to take the white pieces and add some color back in. And I chose amaretto again. I'll do amaretto on one and the brown jasper on the other one. Both of them work really good. That brown jasper matches that color perfectly. And on the green, I'll use a little brown on the green. You can use the malachite on the green, or go ahead and finish it out with a little bit of one of your browns. This one is Roots, Mocha or Amaretto. Perfect. Okay, and you have a little packet now with some brads in it. And we're going to glue these together to start with. Just a little bit of adhesive right here is where I'm going to use just a little bit of our Barely Art glue. And the white will get glued onto the green. Match up your holes. That's the important part. And then you have two big copper brads. Copper is one of my favorite color when it comes to brads. And these brads will go through that hole. Now you could go through the whole entire page layout if you wanted to secure it even better, but I kind of like the fakeroo part because it's easier to do than trying to get that through all those layers of paper. Okay, so now you have two of these. One, you're going to glue your paper down, and then you're going to on one end. So lay it out first so you can see where you want your vellum and your paper. I think I'm going to move it down about like that. So that is a life well lived is still over that little green piece that we added. So what you're going to do now is just add some adhesive behind these little tabs, and it will add some decoration as well as making it so you don't have to add adhesive to the back side of your vellum so it looks messy. So let's go ahead and glue those down. You know what, before we glue those down completely, let's go back and cut this other piece, and I think you probably already cut them, but I'm going to do that right now. Train prize first. Susan Calabrese, you have won a train prize. Good job. It's your lucky day. Okay, so you're going to take, let me make sure I'm telling you the right piece of vellum. And it's the one that's 3 by 12. 3 by not 12. It's 11 because this is just the same width as regular paper. So you're just going to lay that out. If you want to chalk these edges before, vellum's always a fun thing to chalk. It's a little harder to chalk than paper, but again, you can chalk the back side, you can chalk the front side. Doesn't matter because it's translucent and it shows through. So if you want to add a little color to this, I'm going to lay it on my instruction sheet, and I'm going to add some color like this. Because it is hard to hang on to. And it just lets you see that all your words show through, but it also adds just a little color to the edge of your vellum piece. I'll do both sides of it. Okay. And then again, we're going to lay this on. So it's flush to the top. You can center it, or you can make it flush to the top, flush to the bottom. That's totally up to you. Or you can trim off just a little bit in order to make it absolutely the same size as your 10.5 paper. So lay it on so it looks about like that. And then when we add Whimsey and Nonsense, this little tab will hold down part of your vellum over here, okay? And then it'll hold down the other end of your Whimsey is a life filled with. And then to hold it down a little bit more, we have a piece of 6 by 8. I'm pretty sure it's 6 by 8. Let me tell you exactly here. 6 by 8 white with flowers. And then you're going to chalk up these edges just a little bit. So 6 by 8 white with flowers. And then this is going to hold down the left side of that long vellum piece.
Somebody's saying they can't see the top of the
Oh, well, let me
page.
move it down.
I adjusted the camera just a
Oh,
little
okay.
bit too.
So this is going to go on your page about like this. So see, this edge is going to hold down your vellum, and being it's going in a page protector anyway, you still don't have to add adhesive all the way around. This will hold it down perfectly, get it into a page protector, and it's going to stay just like that. So let's add a little adhesive to this, get it glued down.
So Amy's saying the picture shows using the 10.5-inch vellum piece that's the exact size of the wood paper.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's true, because you're going to cut off just a little bit across the bottom of that. Okay, so that's where it comes in, where you can just trim off a little bit off the top and off the bottom. If you cut a 1/2 inch off, it's going to be exactly the same, because this is 11 inches. So a 1/4 inch up here, a 1/4 inch down here will be perfect. So really either piece, there's one that's 3.5 wide, one that's 3 wide. Doesn't even matter, because the other one's going into a similar spot on page 2. But yes, you're right. Okay, then the only other thing, once you get all this in place, is, and we're not going to do this right now, and it's this red frame. You add a brad to each end of it. You're going to need to put a picture in there anyway, so I'm going to say let's not do that right this minute. And you have a couple of little square flower pieces that are embellishment, and that's all for page 1. Okay, let's move this one out of the way, and let's start on page 2. I'll show you what page 2 amounts to. And we're doing this little piece again. Here's where your other piece of vellum will end up. And pretty much it's this, again, it's the 10.5 long. So if you want to cut off a little bit off the top, a little bit off the bottom, or just so that it's about the same all the way around. If you don't cut it off, if you can tuck it in underneath, we've done that before too, and that holds this bottom edge down. Same at the top. If you can pull that up just enough to tuck that very, very edge underneath, then that will hold this in place also. But you do have this little frame at the bottom that's going to hold parts of it in place too. So this is the little flip book, and it's not a book, it's more of a little pocket. So here you have a pocket here, you have a pocket here, and then a teeny tiny little one down here. Place to tuck tags, tickets, and memorabilia, and it goes on the outside of your page protector. Lift it up, and then this will flop down over the front of your page protector. So let's work on that little piece right there. Okay, here's our other page 2. And what you are looking for now, we're going to work on that little book, is a 4.5 by 7 3/4 brown dot paper. And it is the board paper on one side and brown dots on the other side. And you're going to use your trimmer or your scoreboard, score pal, whatever you have. And you're going to score at 3/4 inch in across one short end. And that's 3/4 inch this time, not an inch, but 3/4 inch. So use your bone folder or your credit card, room key, embossing stylus, any of those things. And score at 3/4 inch across a short end. And then I'm just going to fold this back. And this is a good piece to chalk at least the top edges here, because as you can see, that's all that's going to show. So that right at the fold, you could chalk that, and down a little bit the right side, down about halfway down the left side. And the rest of it is not going to show anyway, so I'm going to add just a little bit across the top, a little down the right side. And your adhesive will go onto the 3/4 inch onto the back side, which the back side for this will be the wood grain. And put a couple of rows of adhesive to make sure you have it on there, because this needs a little more security because it's something you'll be using quite often. And then once you get it, the adhesive on, this 3/4 inch tucks in behind, and it's in about an inch to an inch and a quarter, maybe an inch and a half from the left-hand side of your page. So see there, I've tucked it in behind, and I just fold it down, and it's adhered on the back side. There's your 3/4 inch piece. It's adhered to the back. This part is not glued down at all. Okay, so that's that. Okay, so there's some strange cut little pieces in here, and I want to locate both of those for now. One looks like this on the flowered side, and the other one looks like this. I need both of these pieces right now. We're going to use both of these. The green one, let's go ahead and chalk up the edges a little bit. You will be able to see the edges of this. You won't see the bottom, but the left edge, that diagonal, and the right edge, you'll be able to see that a little bit. So let's chalk that up a little bit before we get it glued down. And again, I'm using one of the browns. Okay, so this is how this part works. It's going to go right here, and it fits perfectly on the front of this. But the only place you're going to add adhesive is behind here on the left and behind here on the right. And the reason for that is you don't need to add any at the bottom. You're going to add another piece that folds around, and that seals off the bottom part. So go ahead and add some adhesive to this. And again, it's only to the left and the right. And none at the bottom, and go ahead and glue it on to your page. And now you've just made your first pocket. Get that glued down. And then now you're looking for this funny little piece. It's blue on one side, and the side that we're going to end up using is the floral side. But if you look at the blue side, you can see 3 score lines. There's one here, here, and here. So go ahead and fold those score lines. And they're not super scored, so just kind of keep an eye on it as you fold. You want it folded right along those little score lines. And then once you get it kind of limbered up, it's going to be folded this way to start with, but we want to go back and refold so it goes the other way. And reason for that is because we want the flowered side to show, and these little flaps are going to fold around to the back side of our pocket and create one more pocket, but also sealing off the bottom of this pocket. Okay, so it should look like this. Now you're going to turn it over and add some adhesive to all 3 flaps. They're about 1/2 inch. Add adhesive to all 3 flaps. And then this will go on the bottom of your green pocket, and all these little flaps fold around to the back side. And your back side is going to look like this. Okay, looks like this. And what you have is a piece of white paper that is going to cover up some of this. There's a little bit of a gap here at the bottom, but if you want that covered up, you can. Remember, it's going to add just one more thickness of paper, so if you're going to put a picture there anyway, it might cover up those little edges, but that's up to you. This white piece goes on the back, and again, there is a little bit of a gap here at the bottom. And in your red die cut, you have a tiny, tiny little piece that kind of looks like a pocket. It's not something you're probably going to use much. It's just a little triangle that came from your red die cut. So if you just want it added as decoration, you can tuck a little something down into it. It looks like we've tucked down a little piece of one of these little square flower pieces. We have a little paper clip with a ribbon tied on one end of it that slides over just for decoration, and then there's a couple of little tags. Your extra piece of vellum also, if you want to tuck that down in there as a tag, and 2 little board tags, ribbons at the top. The cutting dimensions for your ribbons are at the top, always at the top left of your page, which is over here. And then it says cut your ribbon into 3 pieces, 3 6-inch pieces, and that's where you're going to add it to the paper clip and to the tops of those little tags. So we've done all the busy part of this. I'm going to just lay this out just a little bit. You have a piece that goes here. You have some pre-cut or die-cut pieces that are mats that go here with the little frames and brads. Also the frames and brads over here. Here is where that other piece of vellum goes, right here. And then you have, we're almost done with page 1 too, so it looks like we are pretty close to being done with pages 1 and 2, and I think at this point I'm going to let you finish up on your own, because here you may want to wait and put pictures behind these two before you actually glue them down. That's what I would do anyway. So if you don't have any questions, do you have something, Breezy, that you?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, she's gathering up something here, so we will give you some time here. Let me see, what time is it? It is 1:45.
I don't know.
1:45, I think it is. My watch has not been changed since daylight savings time, so I don't know. It's 1:45 then.
Yeah, and we start back up at not till 3.
It's 2 hours in between, so yeah. But that'll give you time to get those all finished, completely finished up. So what have you got there?
Is an hour enough time for the last class? Yes, it is, probably. That's what we have it on the schedule, is for just an hour. I mean, it can overlap a little bit, but
Yeah.
into dinner.
Okay, what you got?
I think in your guys' package of goodies you got, your giveaways and things like that, there was a coupon in there for 25% off of an online order. Minimum order is $25. If maybe if you can hold it up a little bit so they can actually see the code that's on there. The code is 3-day 2025 on it, but everybody should have that coupon in their bag. So this applies to anything on our website except events and inks. So it would apply to page kits that are on there. It would apply to paper packs, any vellum quotes, things like that on our website. So you can add things. You can add the December live event, get free shipping. You can add extras to your website, get a 25% off code, and then have it all shipped together for free shipping. Just add things to your cart throughout the weekend. Be sure you're logged in so that it doesn't lose it. Add things to your cart throughout the weekend, and then you can just check out with this code at the end, and it'll take that 25% off of there. I'll also post the code in the comments over here. But do you want to show them some of the new kits we have? Some of these some of you have seen before, some not, but these are some of their newer things on our website.
Oh, okay. This one is Adventure, and that's got some of my favorite adventure paper on there. I know that the package kind of makes it a little bit shiny, but that one's a fun one. This one's Relax, Enjoy. It's a beachy page. Has little surfboards, an old-fashioned car. This is one little adventure at a time. Let the sun shine in. And I'll tell you what, we haven't had any today. It's been raining like crazy here. Let the sun shine in. Christmas is coming, so here's a Christmas poinsettia kit. It's a beautiful paper line. This one's called Explore. Has lots of fun little suitcases. And this one is Beach Time. One of our new By the Sea line of paper. Has lots of starfish on it. This one says See the World, One Beautiful Adventure. And this is another one, I think the paper line is called See the World. And this one is Summer. Lots of pretty colors in this one.
These ones would be great for you that think some of our stuff is too bright.
Okay, and this one it says Beautiful, Always Remember This. This one's pretty. My Little Man. We haven't had one specifically for little boys in a while. My Little Man. My Girl. I Love You More Than All the Starfish in the Sea. Be Grateful, Be Happy. It's cute little pumpkins with the little gnome. Home is Where Your Story Begins. And Sweater Weather. This is a super cute one too. Fall is in the Air.
Okay, we finally, oh, you're not quite done.
Two more.
Okay.
And this one's camping. Lots of fun outdoorsy colors in this one. And this one's fall. Lots of pretty fall colors in this one. Okay.
And then for those of you who wait for our month kits to come out every year, we finally got the last quarter out, and October, November, and December in the bottom of this pile. They are not ready to ship yet. We're working on them, but here are the whole month, or the whole year's worth of months that we do every year.
So the only ones not available just yet are September, October.
Correct. Yep.
October, November, December.
October, November, December.
Okay, this one's January.
And you can get a little bit of a discount buying these sets in bundles. So we do them quarterly. So we have on there January, February, March on there quarterly, and they're $36 for a bundle. The 25% off coupon doesn't apply to that because they're already discounted. But if you bought 3 months or quarterly at a time, you would get a little bit of a discount on them. Those are under the sale category if you want to buy them as a bundle. Otherwise, they are individually under page kits.
Have May. And June. Some more of our, what was the name of this paper line? French Riviera.
Yeah.
French Riviera for June and July. August. September. And the brand new ones are October. These are the actual layouts because we don't have them totally ready to go yet. This is October, super cute. And again, those are not quite ready yet, but they will be soon. This one's November. And December.
And October, November, December are in a bundle. They're individually also. They are still being directions and stuff written for them, I believe. They're on there for a pre-order, I think, at this point. But they are coming. And so this is the coupon that you guys should have. I also just put it in the comments. Do you want to hold it up a little bit? Maybe they can see it a little better. So it's 25% off of a $25 minimum order on our website. It does not apply to events or inks or sale items on there, but you can use it for page kits, paper packs, vellum quotes, anything like that on there. So add stuff to your cart throughout the weekend. You can have it. You can order a Christmas, one of the Christmas sets of kits. That's free shipping, and then everything would ship for free with it if you added that all to your cart over the weekend. So, and then checked out by Sunday evening. Anything else for now? What time are we coming back? 3 o'clock?
This is 3 o'clock, so that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna come back. It'll
Okay.
give you time to finish just about everything that you have started throughout the day,
Let
and
me see if there's any
pages
other
3 and
questions.
4. And
I think we're good.
I don't see any questions, so we will be back right at 3 o'clock, and that class is called My Everything. So we'll see you back at 3.